Hello. Have you ever wished to learn to speak like the late Jeremy Brett? We're back with another accent analysis video. This time we break down the secrets of Mr. Jeremy Brett's accent or dialect. We've already analysed the dialects of the late Queen Elizabeth and art critic Mr. Sewell. Jeremy Brett, who achieved universal acclaim during his 50s for his brilliantly arresting characterization of Sherlock Holmes on television, was an actor of Byronic good looks, romantic bearing, and sonorous delivery. Brett's physical qualities were matched by an innate gift of bravura, which made him adept at playing roles which demanded, above all, a handsome presence, a lively swagger, and a touch of moody sensuality. In our analysis, we'll primarily focus on his portrayal of Sherlock Holmes, even though his natural accent is not quite as theatrical as that. We'll occasionally contrast his accent in his role as Holmes with his other roles. Let's jump straight to our accent assessment now.
Very well, Miss Smith. You must tell us your matter of great urgency. It is obviously not your health. So ardent a bicyclist must be full of energy.
Yes, I bicycle a good deal.
Slight roughening on the side of the soles caused by the friction of the pedals.
Excellent, Watson. The marks on your shoes. You must tell us your matter of great urgency. You must tell us your matter of great urgency.
Brett's accent is classic, traditional West London received pronunciation. His R's are especially noteworthy. It's called a trilled R or rolled R, present in some dialects and often associated with theatricality. Jeremy pretty much speaks the Victorian equivalent of RP. Holmes was university educated and, assuming he had a regional accent to begin with, would have learned to correct it. Listen to this recording of Virginia Woolf speaking in 1937, a very rare recording.
Words, English words, are full of echoes, memories, associations. They've been out and about on people's lips, in their houses, in the streets, in the fields, for so many centuries. And that is one of the chief difficulties in writing them today. They're stored with other meanings, with other memories, and they have contracted so many famous marriages in the past. The splendid word incarnadine, for example, who can use that without remembering multitudinous seas? In the old days, of course, when English was a new language, writers could invent new words and use them. Nowadays, it's easy enough to invent new words. They spring to the lips whenever we see a new sight or feel a new sensation.
Woolf was born in Kensington, West London in 1882, right around the Sherlock Holmes era. Jeremy Brett sounds very much like her, making his portrayal spot on. A shorter version of the trilled R is called a flapped R or tapped R, where the tongue only taps once the hard part behind the upper teeth. Just one quick tap or flap. Note the Welsh use a rolled R as part of their natural dialect, just like it's also part of the Scottish dialect. Jeremy's penchant for rolling his R's is more to do with his decision, as acknowledged by Edward Hardwick, if I recall this correctly, to deliberately inject some era-appropriate staginess into his line readings, a bit of theatricality, to give Holmes a larger-than-life quality. This is fitting for the Victorian era in which Sherlock Holmes stories are set. Some people have said that Brett rolls his R's like that because he has rhoticism, a speech impediment that makes it difficult to pronounce the R sound. But I'm convinced that Brett's decision to roll his R sounds was not a speech impediment, but rather a stylistic choice to enhance the theatricality of his performance. In his other roles, Brett did not consistently use this rolling R technique, indicating that it was specifically chosen for his portrayal of Sherlock Holmes to distinguish the character and enhance his performance.
Yes. Even if I have to travel a long way, I take my bicycle on the train with me, as I did today.
You will excuse me, but it is my business. Yes, I nearly fell into the error of supposing you earned a living by typewriting, but of course it is obviously music. You will observe, Watson, the spatulate finger ends, which is common to both professions. There is a spirituality about the face, however, which the typewriter does not generate. This lady is a musician.
Yes, Mr. Holmes, I teach music.
Yes, I nearly fell into the error of supposing you earned a living by typewriting, but of course it is obviously music. You will observe, Watson, the spatulate finger ends, which is common to both professions. Yes, I nearly fell into the error of supposing you earned a living by typewriting, but of course it is obviously music.
There is a distinct swing to this accent. It comes across due to the differences between the stressed and unstressed syllables. This accent leaps up and down into the landing points in a phrase. An exercise favored by elocution teachers was to use a chiffon scarf to swing through a phrase, a little bit like rhythmic gymnastics. So there are rapid dabs and glides on the landing points. This lends a distinct musical quality to Jeremy Brett's dialect.
In the country, I presume, from your complexion.
Near Farnham, on the borders of Surrey. But please, let me explain why I am here.
In the country, I presume, from your complexion. In the country.
Very clear, happy dancing. I'm not going to go into it again here, as we recently looked at it in detail when I analysed Mr. Brown Sewell's accent, and also earlier when we looked at the late Queen's speeches. Click up here for more details. Practice this with me with the following example sentence. Say this out aloud with me now. Billy and Mary were happy to see the movie. When Harry met Sally, Billy had a coffee and Mary bought a pastry.
I am an only child, and my father died some years ago.
His name and profession.
James Smith. He conducted the orchestra at the Old Imperial Theatre.
Ah, the old Imperial, Holmes.
Yes. Please continue.
Not to go off on a tangent, but he is very handsome here. Comment below if you agree with me. And the fact that he comes across as quite chivalrous only makes matters worse. Oh, well. Focus. Soldiering on.
My mother and I were left without a relation in the world, except for one uncle, Ralph Smith, who went to Africa 15 years ago. And we have not had a word from him since, despite our Christmas cards and photographs.
This lady's accent, that's Holmes's clan's accent, is pretty remarkable too, as a sample of a clean RP accent from the past. Just not as remarkable, obviously, as Jeremy's. Nevertheless, still very intriguing. Hence we've kept it here.
Mr. Holmes, I have to tell you that...
I think you wish to tell me that you and your mother are very poor, notwithstanding your obvious grace, dignity, and talent.
We were very poor.
Ah.
Mr. Carruthers shows a great deal of interest in me. Oh, he has never said anything. He is a perfect gentleman. But a girl always knows.
So I believe.
And I assume that these feelings that you sense from Mr. Carruthers are not reciprocated? Not reciprocated?
Note the ED endings, especially my dear American viewers, okay? These use a kit vowel in all varieties of standard English, including modern RP. So, wasted, landed, etc.
Can you describe this man? I realize that you've only seen him from a distance.
Yes.
I realize.
You can make the near diphthong almost the same as square, with the tongue not quite making it to the kit position to start the glide. This makes the words rarely and rarely difficult to tell apart. Let's practice. Repeat aloud and pause the video if you feel the need to. Maria was sincere in her weird career, but feared the fierce bearded cashier.
He wears a dark suit, dark spectacles, and he has a beard.
Young, old, young, old, young, old.
Note both young and old. The strut vowel and the goat vowel. Again, we won't go into the details. I suggest you click up here for more details. In a nutshell, the vowel in young or blood is more backwardly placed, and it sounds slightly longer in duration, and the vowel in old is tighter, and the letter L does not affect its quality. In other words, the L does not color it.
He's about middle-aged.
Now, let me see if I have the geography correct. Here is the road, with a sharp bend in it here. On this side, Charlington Heath, and on the other, the woods of Charlington Hall, with a sharp bend in it here.
The kit vowel has a shape that is closer to being a shorter version of a fleece vowel. Sprinkle a little E onto it. Keep the sound bright, high, and forward, and spread the sound across the gum ridge. To do a quick practice, say this with me now. The ship listed as busy women built a pretty bridge in the dim midwinter.
How long did you wait for him here around the bend?
Oh, no more than 2 minutes.
So he could not have retreated back down the road.
Are there any side roads?
None along this stretch.
Could he have taken a footpath across the heath?
Oh, the heath is totally flat and bleak. I think I would have noticed him.
So, by a process of exclusion, we arrive at the fact that he made his way towards Charlington Hall. Now, how does Mr. Carruthers make his living?
Oh, he's a rich man.
But no carriages or horses. No carriages or horses.
Again, use a kit vowel ending, so it's more like the word is spelled Horsiz and not Horses. Okay?
Well, at least he's fairly well off. Or he goes into the city 2 or 3 times a week, and he sometimes refers to his gold chairs.
Yes, I see. You must let me know immediately that there are any fresh developments. I am extremely busy just now, but I will find time to make inquiries into your case.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes.
In the meantime, take no step without letting me know. But I will find time to make inquiries.
Very clear vowel smoothing in inquiries and even time. We have a separate dedicated video on this here. Notice again the ly ending in perfectly, and also the general intonation pattern with the rapid punches, dabs and glides. Imagine even chopping up meat with a heavy cleaver. The rhythm is punchy, strident, with sudden barks of sound. Some may even find Brett's manner bossy, but it is just a plain manifestation of tradition, order, discipline, and a practical, good, common-sense approach to life.
Oh, no, you really have done remarkably badly. He goes back to the hall, and you come all the way back to London to call on a house agent. Call on a house agent.
Very interesting. For that house, start with the R in bath, then off half-heartedly onto the vowel in foot. Very lackadaisical, really. And therefore, the result is a clearly audible smoothing of that diphthong. And do note that agent, it's not agent, but agent, like it is spelled agint, sort of like private becoming private almost. private becoming Privit. That whole chunk of speech from Mr. Brett is littered with every feature of upper-class accents imaginable. We have happy tensing, we have that wonderful intonation, the ed endings as in doubted, the house as in public house. Some people say it almost becomes house or has, which I think, sorry to say, is a gross exaggeration. I think that's what happens when you merely lampoon this accent without any admiration for it. Okay, I think that'll do for now. I trust you found this enlightening. Do subscribe for more refined content. Please do leave your thoughts or doubts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this, do give it a like. I'll be back soon analysing somebody else's accent, or maybe shedding light on some other feature of these posh variants of upper RP. Until our paths cross again in the digital realm, I trust that you'll take the utmost care. Talks.